Silver has survived the Friday Slammy Slam that usually happens every Friday, or most every Friday. There are exceptions, and today is one of those, but we need to see a little bit more out of silver than just this. Let's talk about silver and where we go from here as we explore. Like this channel, silver's got to work a lot harder to get to the success that gold has, and it's going to be a long time running. You know, that's one thing. It's very frustrating to see silver grow as slow as it has, considering where it has been before. I understand that. I get a lot of comments from folks that are just outright frustrated with silver. However, there are small victories that we should take into account with regards to silver, and today is one of those. We're going to talk a little bit more about that and what we need to see more often with silver's price. But as always the case, it's always good to dollar cost average. And when you're shopping around to buy your precious metals online, you want to find a dealer that you can trust that's going to sell you silver that is going to be authentic and is going to be at the most competitive prices possible. My friends at Summit Metals are just that. Probably the fastest precious metal dealer out there online. And they have great competitive prices. So as you shop around, consider Summit Metals. The silver market has gone back and forth during the trading session, and we continue to dance around the 50-day moving average, and we continue to dance around the same consolidation area that we've been in. Dancing around. Come to the dance with silver. That's the technical analysis by forecaster Chris Lewis. The $32 is underneath the massive support, while the $35 level is above is massive resistance. So we see that range, and certainly we're trading on the low end of that range right now. But moments before the markets close, silver is above 1% right now to $32.86. So that's pretty good, and nice to see it above the $32.50 range, which is another level of resistance and support that we're seeing here. So that $32 level is very interesting because it becomes a magnet for price as it is fair value. We tried to get there during the session today, but pulled back a bit, with the 50-day moving average itself a bit of a magnet. So what kind of momentum are we going to look at from now? Probably not much. We may stay within this $2 range for the time being, and range-bound traders will love this market for sure. Traders who go back and forth on short-term charts have been cleaning up in the silver market. And that's just it, folks. I want to be as open-minded as possible to this idea of price suppression. We know there's manipulation out there, which is kind of selfish gains to move silver's price in one direction or another. But we do see times of massive drops in price, usually at the open of the markets. But then again, sometimes there's massive upswings as well, too. I think a lot of that has to do with high-frequency trades and program trades that occur when the price moves up or down. Of course, in the overnight market, much as we see in the Asian markets, some of those trades may not be happening and may come to a point of consolidation during the next opening session as in New York. But notwithstanding, one thing is for sure, silver has got a long way to go. It grows, but it grows slower than its cousin gold, big brother, granddaddy. I don't know who's your daddy, and certainly gold is silver's daddy right now, as the gold to silver ratio has widened to over 100. We've seen a little bit of narrowing, and today we're witnessing a little bit more narrowing to now below 102. Small victory. But what do we need to see, folks? We need to see silver stay above $33 for a sustained period of time before we can really claim victory above the previous victory, which was $30 an ounce. $30 an ounce is a very strong psychological number, and we have been above that number for long enough now, save for that big smackdown that we saw during the slight panic over tariffs back in early April. We did see it fall below $28 an ounce very, very briefly. But now we've seen sustained levels above that magical $30 an ounce which is a victory that I think we can probably claim now as we continue to hope for and wish for sustained $33 an ounce level. Some have said if we could get above that $33 mark, and especially above $35, which is the next massive resistance, as he says here, then I think that likely we'll be on our way northwards to $40 an ounce. And I made a video about how that could happen by the summertime. And I think it's going to involve a couple of things working together to make that happen. But it is possible. A breakout, a true breakout sustained above $35 an ounce is kind of what silver stackers would like to see. Notwithstanding, if we don't see it, and there's a possibility that we may not see it by summer, $33 is the next level that we need to realistically think about to get to. Now, my prediction for the end of the year is $36 an ounce. That seems a long ways off considering what I just talked about here. I still think it's quite possible. Remember, it wasn't terribly long ago when we did see it almost hit $35 an ounce. Again, very briefly, much as the big dip below 29 or 28, we could see it touch $36 an ounce by the end of this year, though it may be brief. And we'll see how it plays out. I want to be as realistic as possible, but also expand my mind. And it's very difficult for me to do because I tend to be ultra realistic and ultra conservative in my analysis of where silver is going to go. But we have seen such dramatic moves in other areas and other commodities, and especially with gold, that there is enough that's working for silver right now, especially when we're hearing reports. I'm hearing trickled reports about demand increasing, and especially coupling along with copper. That could bode very well for silver, and there could be some opportunities ahead as we see these metals move. The other two metals I'm watching right now are platinum and palladium. They often trade in the opposite directions, but sometimes they trade along with. The big mover today is platinum, up $18, almost 1.9% right now to over $1,000 an ounce. And that's exciting for platinum, although we've seen it get knocked right back down again. But if we can see these two metals, which are mostly industrial metals, to the tune of 70-80% or somewhere thereabouts, with silver's just above 50 to 60% industrial move, those two metals very well could be pulling up silver along with it right now. So we'll see how it plays out. But nonetheless, no matter what happens with silver, and even in the worst case scenario, which I think at this point, according to what I'm seeing, the worst case for silver probably is going to be somewhere around the $30 range. That shelf for silver. And although I will say this, that according to this technical analysis that I'm looking at right now from Chris Lewis, it looks like $32 is the number, but I'm thinking $30. And that is probably going to be the worst case scenario as we head through the year. We have to be open-minded to either possibility. And if we are, and we understand the fundamentals of silver long term, we won't get disappointed. We will see it as opportunities that for buying when the price goes low, and if it goes up, well, we can celebrate. We can celebrate, notch a win there. But those wins seem to be few and far between. And when it does go up here, like we've seen here this year and last year, it's kind of muted. It's a muted celebration because, well, look what gold's doing. We tend to compare with gold. And I've mentioned before that we need to stop thinking in that regard. We need to stop thinking about silver and tied with gold, because gold is up for a whole lot of different reasons than silver is, and why silver hasn't climbed up as much. And silver is just not going to be stored by central banks anytime soon. They may have strategic stockpiles of it. We've talked about that on this channel, but you're not going to see central banks just holding on to thousands of bars of this stuff or millions of ounces of it. So there you have it. But I continue to watch these markets, and here we are on Friday, and the smackdown did not occur as many of us thought it would. Typically is the case, but here we are, and we're watching these markets closely. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. I like to bring you the latest news in the world of precious metals. And one thing for sure, whenever you're looking at precious metals, you want to make sure that it is in fact genuine. I did a very important video about that topic this morning. I'm going to link to it at the end screen for you to check out. A very important topic there. With that being said, I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch this video, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.